Evolution 2025. The all-women's WWE PLE will be taking place this Sunday, and the question that I have to ask is, where's the excitement? Don't get me wrong, I'm glad that the women are getting an all-women's PLE, but if you look at the pure reason as to why this show is taking place, you really look at this show from a different lens. And it all boils down to a stadium show that is going to be taking place in Arlington, Texas the day before. The position that these female wrestlers are put in my opinion, is horrible. And in this video, I will explain why. I'm yours truly, Flamin' Ricky DeRays, and this is the real problem with WWE Evolution 2025. Before we get into all this craziness, please make sure to like and subscribe to the Wrestle Havoc channel right here on YouTube, in which we discuss everything in and outside of the squared circle. Make sure to like and subscribe for more content, and as the freaking referee would say, ring, ring, ring that damn bell for more notifications. Evolution. The all-women's WWE PLE / pay-per-view, whatever you want to call it. The last time WWE held this event was all the way back in 2018, and it drew roughly over 11,000 fans at the Nassau Coliseum. A large portion of that had to do with Ronda Rousey, considering Ronda Rousey was at her peak. But ever since that Evolution show, WWE hasn't done an Evolution show since. All of a sudden, WWE is putting out an Evolution show out of nowhere. Now granted, this show has been in the rumor mill for a while. Heck, there was even talks about this show possibly going head-to-head with AEW All In, which thankfully that is not the case, because it would have put these women in a way worse position than they already are in. But the position that they are currently in is still relatively horrible. The only reason as to why this show is taking place to begin with is because of WWE wanting to screw around with AEW. Now I know that's going to upset some people, but I don't care, because at the end of the day, it is the truth. AEW is going to host their biggest show of the year this Saturday, and it's going to be taking place at Globe Life Field in Arlington, Texas. As of right now, they have roughly over 20,000 seats sold, and the capacity is going to be well over 25,000. All in Texas will mark the largest gate for any AEW event in the United States, and that is a big accomplishment on AEW's end. Now, what does Evolution have to do with any of this? Well, WWE has 3 shows going up against AEW All In. WWE was that petty that they decided to put 3 shows on the weekend that AEW will be hosting their biggest show of the year. Of course, they're going to be hosting NXT Great American Bash, which is actually going to go head-to-head with AEW All In. Plus, on that same night, they're going to be doing Saturday night's main event, which is going to have Goldberg's retirement match, and that show is selling tremendously well in terms of ticket sales. And of course, on the next night, they're going to have Evolution 2025. That will be the second ever Evolution PLE. And I'm going to be real honest with you guys. Out of all of the shows that were being built, WWE Evolution has been built very poorly. Don't get me wrong, the match card is fine. It's not all sunshines and rainbows, but it's not a bad card. But if you look at the build for this show, the build for this show has been quite lackluster. Essentially, this card has been thrown around last minute. They would just announce matches left and right. No real storyline progression whatsoever. And unfortunately, that's going to turn a lot of people off, because it clearly shows that WWE just does not care. Let's do a quick rundown of this card. We have the Women's World Championship match, as Io Sky will be defending her title against Rhea Ripley. Not a bad match. I think both women have great chemistry together, but we've seen this already. And honestly, I genuinely do believe that Rhea Ripley's going to go over. We have the women's title on the line, as Tiffany Stratton will be taking on a returning Trish Stratus. Of course, since this is Evolution, they're going to bring out all the legends, and Trish Stratus, of course, is going to be involved with this. But at the same time, if you really think about it, this is very similar to the Goldberg situation. Goldberg just came in out of nowhere and challenged Gunther for the World Championship. Trish Stratus just comes in and is given a world title shot. I don't know, to me, it's just not a good look. We have the NXT Women's title on the line, as JC Jane defends her title against Jordynne Grace. We have a triple threat match for the Women's Intercontinental Championship match, as Becky Lynch will defend her title against both Bayley and Lyra Valkyria. Now, I will say this match does have story behind it, and I have been enjoying the Lyra Valkyria and Becky Lynch storyline, and I am loving the integration of Bayley. Moving on, we have a fatal 4-way for the WWE Women's Tag Team titles, as Raquel Rodriguez and Roxanne Perez will defend their titles against Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair, and 2 teams will still be determined this week. Don't even get me started on the Women's Tag Team titles. The Women's Tag Team titles mean absolutely nothing. We have Jade Cargill versus Naomi, and we have a battle royal in which the winner will earn a Women's World Championship match at Clash in Paris. Now, on paper, this show does not look bad. If anything, I actually believe that this show is going to be really good. But the problem that I have is the lack of effort that WWE is putting when it comes to the build for this show. The position that the women are put in when it comes to Evolution 2025, in my opinion, is horrible. The only reason as to why this show is happening is because of the fact that AEW is going to have All In the night before. It would have been even worse if this show went head to head with All In. Imagine if that was the case. That would have been even worse. but it's not. But it's happening in the same weekend as All In. I'm gonna tell you this right here and right now. Yes, everybody's gonna be watching Goldberg's last match. And yes, a lot of people are gonna be watching Evolution. But when it comes to the entire basis of the whole entire weekend, what is the biggest show out there? The bigger show is gonna be All In. Everybody's gonna be watching All In. All eyes are on that show. The fact that WWE has 3 shows going up against one major show in All In is absolutely baffling to me. To me, it clearly shows WWE's pettiness. And what's crazy is that they can get away with it because they are the industry leader. And what's crazy is that if you look at the ticket sales for this show, Evolution is going to be taking place in the same arena as Saturday Night's main event. Saturday Night's main event sold a bunch of tickets. And the main reason as to why they sold a bunch of tickets, it's because the main attraction for that show is going to be Goldberg and his retirement match. If you put Goldberg on the poster, of course you're going to sell a lot of tickets. Evolution is taking place in the exact same arena, and WWE only sold half of what they sold for Saturday Night's main event. What does that tell you? And this is not me crapping on the women, because if anything, I'm an advocate for women's wrestling. I'm happy that they're getting an all women's pay-per-view. But my main issue is the reason behind WWE doing Evolution 2. If WWE actually cared about women's wrestling, they would have done an Evolution show every single year since the initial one in 2018. But WWE all of a sudden is doing an Evolution show out of the blue now in 2025. You get my drift? In my opinion, the women are put in a terrible position. I want this show to succeed more than the next guy. Trust me, I do. And I actually believe that this show is going to be really good. But if by any chance this show flops and doesn't do well, who do you think WWE is going to point the blame to? They're going to point the blame at the women. And they're going to be like, yeah, women's wrestling does not draw. But here's a newsflash. Women's wrestling does not draw if you don't make the people care. Women's wrestling draws when you have people invested. Women's wrestling draws if you put in the effort. If you put in the effort to build up this show into what it can be and should be, then people will watch. But if you are announcing a card 2 weeks before the actual show, you got a problem. This is the type of problem that we always crap on AEW for, because AEW tends to do the same thing. Granted, they've been getting a little bit better at that, but you understand my point. You just had matches left and right being announced. There was no real storyline progression. There's nothing that's really hooking people into watching this show. This show was built very poorly, and that is the biggest problem with this Evolution show. Also, on top of the fact that the only reason as to why this show is taking place is because of the fact that AEW is going to have All In the day before. And say what you want about Mercedes Moné versus Toni Storm. Say what you want about the build for that match, and trust me, a lot of people have valid arguments as to why they don't like the build for that match. But that is going to be a big match just on paper. And I guarantee you both women are going to tear the house down, in my opinion. But in terms of Evolution 2025, I actually hope that the show is a success. But we need to understand how we got here. Because if WWE actually cared about women's wrestling, they would have done an Evolution show every single year, but they haven't. But yeah, that was my video on Evolution 2025. Please like, subscribe, comment down below, push that bell for notifications. Look out for more videos right here on the Wrestle Havoc channel, in which we discuss everything in and outside of the squared circle. Make sure to like and subscribe for more content, and as the friggin' referee would say, ring, ring, ring that damn bell for more notifications. And as always, it is yours truly, Flamin' Ricky DeRays, signing out. I'll see you guys all in the next video. Peace.